Thank you so much for joining me again tonight or this hour. Please, after reading the caption of the broadcast, I'd love to remind viewers to please read the caption of the, read the description of the broadcast, then like it, okay? Like the broadcast, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and just bring them to the temple and tell them that Mayegun today, what will happen after is probably not going to really be your responsibility. So you just invite them and then leave them to me. Tonight, we are doing our further expose, simplification of the actions and inactions of the rogues in charge of the contraption that is breaking apart piece by piece. As much as we have a lot of people living in denial of this, but every day, tens of stories from the system that continues to create and produce more and more victims who are victims of the actions and the inactions of those in charge of the contraption. And piece by piece, they are breaking it apart. Our own advocacy is that when this contraption will break up, we are doing our best to at least make it more peaceful, so that we can all have something in common, unite or agree on something. That is, let us peacefully go our separate ways. But we are not going to achieve that anytime soon, because of those who among us still believes that they can rescue this contraption, because to them, the problem of Nigeria is just about leadership. The moment they have a good leader or good leadership, everything will just begin to fall in place. And because of this, alleged one Nigerianist, we are always going to probably take longer than expected, but we are on it. Because day by day, at the same time, day by day, or every day, a lot of those who claim to be one Nigerianist are coming to reality of the pure, mirage that belief is. And of course, if you take a look at so many of us who are today advocating for the peaceful renegotiation of this contraption or a peaceful dissolution of the union that people didn't really put together, you will realize that so many of us who are in this camp today used to be one Nigerianist too, until we hit the reality. We stop living in denial. And at this point, if there is anything left to save from this contraption, it will be the generations yet unborn. They don't have to suffer what we suffer or what those before us actually faced. If all of us who are here today cannot make this place better for them, it is better we actually create what we think they deserve to, the world they deserve to live in. So this is why those of you who are still one Nigerianist, I do not have much, anger or what have you towards you. You will eat your own reality too, even though it is taking longer than expected. So in this regard, we have those who knows that the system is so rigged that, the official takeover, which is the official state capture, organized and executed by Tinubu and his gang, is in its, it is in its full force as we speak. And therefore, those of you who are dreaming of coming together to form a coalition that will then dislodge these rogues, these organized criminals, might have something to worry about again. Your own naivety, ignorance, and others, and sometimes, right, or should I say include, your innocence, they are all about to be toyed with again, emotional damage and all that. Because they know that nothing they are doing right now that you call illegitimate government of Tinubu, There's no action that they are currently carrying out as we speak that is not premeditated, coordinated, including some of the unsuspecting moves. Maybe not fully unsuspecting, because there are so many of us who knows that Tinubu and his gang, they have their tentacles spread across every group. In fact, they have all their seed planted in every group, whether it is political, religious, or even traditional. So this is how deep, you know, the deep state is, the corrupt system. They call it a deep state in America. So when El-Rufai and his gang, or should I say, El-Rufai pretended to be a lone ranger, putting together a team of avengers that will come back to avenge whatever is the, you know, political disappointment he has suffered under Tinubu. So the lone ranger, El-Rufai of Kaduna, continued to walk about with this suspicious garment of is he for real? Knowing all his antecedents and his own actions, right, that brought about these rogues in charge of Nigeria today, Tinubu and his gang. So suspicious of his moves have sprung up so many other conspiracy theories. And we can't dislodge all of them. We just need to scrutinize them and see. There are some people who believe that considering the position of El-Rufai in 2023, you know, that brought about this Mumu ticket, this, you know, jihadist in power, as well as the kleptomaniacs who pretended to even be religious in order to push their religious agenda for their ascension to power. So for those of you who kind of remember the roles of this El-Rufai, you know, it is quite shocking to some how that sort of, you know, move, political move that resulted into what is always probably envisioned and always like, you know, the supremacy of a religion. What is the political appointment to that? That El-Rufai is now embarking on a journey of uniting the opposition against Tinubu. So it is like a mixed, a basket case of a conspiracy. But on Mayegun's Diary Political tonight, we are going to take them one after the other, empty everything, like you know, like every thread, so that it will be easier for you as a layman to possibly decipher whatever it is that is going on. There are those who already have their conclusion, by the way, but for the Templars and the Temple of Truth on Mayegun's Diary Political, I am here to share those information with you. Now, what you make of that is totally yours. You can look at it and ignore and say, well, it's just conspiracy theory. It doesn't make any, what have you, okay? And to those who probably will understand the otherwise, it's also up to you. I have my own theory. This is not mine. However, it is a little bit, you know, insidious enough that we want to look at it. And I want to share that with you. Now, it is not new who El-Rufai is. But what some of you should, without ignoring the Stockholm syndrome that people kind of like suffers, right? When the obedient movement was to be birthed, everybody should understand that the genesis of that, of obedient movement, right, was simply because of the, you know, the disappointment, the, you know, rejection of everything that has to do with APC. Starting from the time of, you know, the killings of young people in Nigeria under Boko Haram in 2020 and SARS, to other atrocities committed by the APC against the young people in Nigeria, which finally got them interested in politics than ever before, using the social media to share all information that could possibly, you know, help their curiosity. And you know, 2 years down the line, 2022, they decided that, you know what, if we do not want to be, you know, if we don't want to continue to be insufferable or continue to live like slaves under this APC, number one, people destroying people won't be an option. He actually said that. But they won't go along well with the regularly known politicians. So they started digging until they found Peter Obi. So finding Peter Obi, they started pushing and asking him to run for office. Like, to them, they believed it's all about, because they were even challenged that if they were not comfortable with APC, they should go and start their own political party and possibly, right, go and contest election and defeat APC. So this challenge was literally taken up by these young people, even older people in that contraption, home and abroad. That was what gave birth to this their obedient movement. A movement that was built on, the belief, which some of us believe is not really kind of like a belief, but an illusion. However, a belief that if the citizens rise up to their own social, civil responsibility, right, they may actually change their destiny by voting out, according to them, voting out incompetent politicians, criminal politicians, directionless politicians like APC, but in the process, in that euphoria, they forgot that the people that set the rules, right, will actually determine the end game. They ignored all warnings. So they delved into it, like believing that if they have the number, they can get rid of these rogues. However, the establishments did all they could as well to undermine and compromise them as well, right? So in a space of 6-7 months, they shook the entire system. They actually really shook the entire system that the panic button was pressed. That would these guys dislodge APC, for real? So you know what happened? Shut down the IRF, on the day of election, waited for another maybe 1 week before they announced the bogus result that produced this druggie, certificate forger, Tinubu. Because what you shouldn't forget is how you made them feel. All of you, the obedient, watching me this hour. Maybe 2 years is a long time for you to have forgotten what you actually did to that system and the establishment. For the first time, people destroying people, APC, Egbekebe, they were united, they were scared of what would be if the 4 people tweeting inside the room have become like a tsunami that was about to sweep off the entire establishment, that they got so panicky that the system they bragged, they test run, they bragged about that it is uncompromisable, fell apart on the day of election, which, eventually, not only that it exposed the system to these young people, it also, the electoral system, it also exposed, right, the judicial system. It also exposed so many people that some of you held in high esteem to see that these were actually closet enemies of this contraption. They were not interested in actually getting, getting Nigeria out of the wood. They are benefiting from this rot. Even though they are pretending as well to be on the side of the people. So your movement exposed all of that to the point that they were called fascists for loving Nigeria too much, for wanting a better country that they are going to live in. The older generation ganged up, majority of them ganged up against them, called them names. They were to be hated, they were attacked. So you made them feel like they could have been out of power by now. The entire trajectory of this contraption probably could have changed. It could have been a moment, because it was also the pivotal moment when all these fake 3 Kardashians from northern Nigeria, where they always have 20 million votes, 50 million votes coming from God knows where, you neutralized all of that, demystified a lot of things. That's how you made them feel. So what some people are now feeling, they are now projecting about this coalition, that. Their belief is that it is not about bringing the opposition together to stop Tinubu. It is actually about, already what you have in Nigeria is called controlled opposition. Okay? Out of 20 political parties or 30 political parties you have in Nigeria, Tinubu has investment in more than, in fact, with PDP right now, Tinubu controls the entire 30 parties. If you have 50 political parties in Nigeria, Tinubu's presence is in every political party. As much as some of them would deny, sure you get now, but they know what they are doing. So how could you, in a space of 7 months, there is no politician that can try that, not even Tinubu. Tinubu, if they denied him in APC, Tinubu cannot put together a political party, right, in 7 months, enough to run for president of any country like you, the Obedience, did before you got shortchanged. No political party, no politician in Nigeria that can try that. Nobody, none of them. But you went it all alone, which indeed also helped at the establishment enough that, you know what, their naivety, their ignorance in some level, the compromise system that is dishonest, there's always going to be a way out. We can always change the rules of the game or change the goalposts during the game. But they didn't forget how you made them feel, how panicky they became, how worried they were, to the point that the system they swore that was impenetrable, unhackable, suddenly shut down. Until today, the election result announced by INEC, the election result that they said Tinubu won with 8 million votes. If you go to the INEC website right now, they still haven't uploaded up to 80% of the results. Go to their website right now. And this is like 2 years after. So this is how much you made them feel. You made them feel so incompetent, foolish, stupid, almost losing it. So they just had to kind of like become crude about it. That, okay, you know what? Do your worst. Unfortunately, it was Peter Obi that stopped you then to say you don't have to. Even though some people still say you don't. I mean, you didn't need Peter Obi to fight for your, for your rights or what have you. So there are those people who now believe that majority of you might have forgotten, but the system never forgets. They will never underrate you again. Yes, they may have people paid on social media, laughing at you, making jokes and all of that about your Peter Obi, but the entire system. That is why today, even if you see any member of Tinubu's illegitimate regime on TV, on radio, on social media, you can tell the obsessions they have there with Peter Obi and you, the obedient. Because what you did to them in 2023, that they managed, right, to escape. They won't let that happen again. And this time, it is always going to be like, you know what, we have to stop them in their wake now. So when they are talking about coalition, the coalition is not, this is not my theory, remember? Some believe that the coalition is not about how to stop Tinubu in 2027. All this drama you are seeing or witnessing with El-Rufire and co. They actually the plot to stop your Obi because they have no idea now that they have actually losing it so much. You know, if to say Nigeria is United Kingdom or other Western countries, they will tell you today what is Tinubu's public rating. What is Tinubu's government's public acceptance? And then you will get to see how much they have been so despised by the people, even some of their own pretentious abobakus. If you conduct a poll to check on these people and say, how do you feel about this Tinubu? If Tinubu's rating is up to 7-10% in Nigeria, it's very good score. Trust me, it is a good score. If Tinubu manages to have 10% rating in Nigeria. So every day, more and more people are actually even looking forward to what Peter Obi has to do. Now, you may, like I said, they have committed, they have commissioned some people to continue to probably, toy with your emotion, this and that on social media. But in the way they are talking about your Obi every now and then, it is enough to let you know that this obsession is not ordinary. And therefore, if you shock them in 7 months, what are you capable of doing in 4 years? Should they just, or something should be done? This is the theory of some people when it comes to this, their coalition. Again, when you check the background of the guy that is leading it. But others are like, no. My own projection is very easy and simple. And at the same time, right, it is not, it is not